American Football League. In pro football's family feud, the third annual Super Bowl game in Miami. Hi, everybody. This is Kurt Gowdy here at the Orange Bowl in Miami.
What?
The 1969 Super Bowl game will get underway 30 minutes from now. Now, complete sellout, of course. The weather is gusty. We may have some rain this afternoon. It rained hard last night, but the field was covered.
Hello?
Baltimore Colts, the heavier favorites to win this Super Bowl game, and Green Bay was in 1967 and 1968. Now with me today are Al DeRogatis and Kyle Rose, former National Football League stars who have also been following the AFL on our telecast throughout the season. And Pat Summerall will serve as our NFL veteran. And together, we'll show you how the Jets and Colts got into the game, why the Colts are favored, and what the Jets must do if they hope to win. We'll continue with more of the pregame activities here at the 1969 Super Bowl right after this message.
Okay. No. Yep. Yeah. Okay. No, me too. No.
Am I going nuts? Into my menthol shave cream? Last night was rougher than I thought. Maybe I am whacked out, but that is mint. And that is my menthol shave cream. Mint! And menthol! What a wild idea! Oh my goodness. It smells fresh like mint.
Rapid Shave Menthol Mint. It's a new kind of cool.
The Jets earned their berth here in the Super Bowl by beating Oakland 27-23 in the AFL title game on December 29th in New York. On that same day, Baltimore won the NFL championship with a 34-0 rout of Cleveland. The Jet game was a thriller. They led 20-15 in the last period. But with less than 9 minutes to go, George Atkinson intercepted a Joe Namath pass intended for Don Maynard. Atkinson goes all the way to the Jet 6 before Namath himself slams Atkinson out of bounds. On the next play, Keith Banaszak scored for Oakland, and the Raiders led 23-20. After the kickoff, Namath found George Sauer with one of the 49 passes that Namath threw that afternoon. The next play was a big one. Namath fires the bomb to Maynard, who turned the tables on Atkinson with a 52-yard circus catch down to the Oakland 6. From there, with 7:47 left to play, Namath again passed to Maynard. He was the secondary target. He would go to and Maynard's second touchdown. Here's the Jets back and their first eight. The NFL title game was a showcase for that magnificent Baltimore defense. It held Cleveland to 56-yard rush, and Leroy Kelly, the NFL's leading rusher, to only 28 yards. Starting with a scoreless first quarter, the Colts front four put tremendous pressure on the Brown quarterback, Bill Nelson. But he somehow found Paul Warfield, and Cleveland was on the mark. When the drive stalled, a Cleveland field goal attempt was deflected by Bubba Smith and recovered by Baltimore. Brown's coach Lance Rogers said it was the turning point of the game. After Baltimore scored on a Lou Michaels field goal, Earl Morrall passed to Jimmy Orr to start a full mark. 5 minutes later, Tom Matte made it 10-0, going over from the 1. It was all downhill for Cleveland after that. Bill Nelson was intercepted by Mike Curtis, who doubled the ball but held it before stepping out. Baltimore made it 17-0 3 plays later when Matty scored. And in 9 of their last 10 games, the Colts have not yielded a touchdown until they were at least 17 points ahead. In the second half, Matty got his third touchdown, and Baltimore won it 34-0. Cleveland's first shutout since 1958. Al DeRogatis, now that we've seen the two teams here today, we've talked to the name of the show, the name of the game is defense. Let's break the defense down today.
Sure, let's just talk about briefly the three segments really that
talking about the defense, the deep secondary.
And that secondary, we're going to be talking today about Baltimore's sophisticated zone and New York plays mostly man-to-man. How about explaining that to some of the casual fans that they wouldn't hear?
All right, well, now, man-to-man is relatively simple. To talk about very difficult to execute. One man follows one man regardless of where he goes. The zone a bit more difficult. We'll be seeing Bobby Boyd coming up, hitting Don Mayer, playing a short area of about 10 yards. We'll see Jerry Logan, a strong safety, going over, covering men deep. We'll see Mike Curtis, number 32, dropping to his left, taking away the strong zone. The object to beat Maynard and to provide very little room for Joe Namath to throw to.
All right, now we sent Kyle Rhodes to the Jet training camp during this last week with a Phil Crew, Pat Summerall to the Colts camp, and we interviewed some of these players and we had them talk about defense. Now we have to be mindful that the players aren't going to try and tip the other club off, and maybe some of the things they say aren't really what we're going to see here today. But first of all, we talked to the pass rusher, Billy Ray Smith, Bubba Smith of the Colts, and to the Jets Jerry Logan.
You've seen the Jets only on film. How would you rate them? How would you rate their offensive line?
I think they have a good solid offensive line. They're fairly quick. Just getting deep. We're just protected all year. I think we've been told 17 times all year. So I'd have to say that they're pretty fair overall offensive line.
I think that's 17 is correct. Do you see any obvious weaknesses?
Well, I think we see some, but we're going to be able to take advantage of them.
Well, that leads me into the next question then. Do you plan any change in strategy?
I don't think we play going to have any change at all. Things have done well all year. I think.
Jerry, in this matter of pass rushing, of course, the fellow who was trying to be preventing you from getting back to Earl Morrall, or Johnny Unitas, Baltimore quarterback, will be Sam Ball, the right offensive tackle for Baltimore. Can you tell us a little bit about his style?
Well, Kyle, just watching in the movies, I've never played against him. I haven't had the experience against him physically, but watching him and trying to see what bad moves he might have or tendencies he has or are his weak spots, I have to say he's a good tackle. He doesn't have too many bad tendencies at all. Some fellas like to lean out at you. Others like to put their head down, but he seems to really do it overall. But I hope I had found one, and I'm going to try to use it Sunday.
Actually, he's a little larger than you are physically, is he not?
Yes, he is, Kyle. I think he's 6'5", 255, and so he has me by about 3 inches and 15 to 20 pounds. But I don't think it's going to be his name.
Jerry, how much will you vary your pass rush? Different maneuvers.
I'd like to say that I split it up, taking the inside and outside. Mainly, we are responsible for the outside as far as containing the quarterback, but I don't think Morrall likes to roll out of there too often unless he tackles it, gives him a lot of pressure. We hope maybe that might happen this Sunday. Otherwise, it's any way you can get in there.
How about you personally? Your rush that you've been put on your name?
Well, Joe sets really deep, probably deeper than anybody who's faced all year. And is, he is one of the quickest release in football in the league. And it's just a matter of really of us getting off the ball as quickly as possible and trying to get that extra step while we're going back. To look for the receiver downfield, maybe we can do that.
Bubba, you say that Namath sets probably deeper than anybody else that you've seen all year. Do you figure that might be an advantage or a disadvantage?
Well, I figured it might be an advantage as far as because I'm coming off the corner. And, a lot of times this year I know I've overrun the quarterback, and maybe this time I've been on opportunity to do that.
So a touchdown the angle that you have to turn and you get by the block. What about Namath himself? Is he predictable? Have you been able to get a pattern of what he might do?
Oh, I don't think he's been very active with the long line. He throws it a lot. If that's an indication of what he's predictable, then it would be the long line.
In your own analysis of your own team, your own defensive unit, do you think you're better against the rush or against the pass?
Well, to give you an honest answer, I think statistically we've been better against the rush. And that's our main concern this week will be the pass defense. But again, everybody will have to work extra hard because they have that great advantage.
All right, we all know Namath is back deep. He has one of the quickest releases in the history of pro football. Can Baltimore put a pass rusher?
Baltimore, Kurt, has put a fast rush on just about everyone, so I don't think Joe is going to have that easy an afternoon. Obviously, Don Shula has built this great Baltimore defense to stop Joe Namath. You'll see a big rush, a very, very big rush. We're going to see the importance really of the rush, Kurt. We talked a little bit about the zone, but there's no defense really that can prevent Joe Namath from completing passes unless you put a big rush on. You're going to see looping lines, and these guys are just absolutely perfect at the loop. We won't see a great deal of red dogging, but Joe is going to see the very best defense he has seen all year.
All right, now how about the Jets? Can they rush more?
Well, that's going to be, in my mind, one of the real big questions, because if you can, the ball game is totally different. Number one, Earl is absolutely great at calling a predetermined game plan, Kurt. Number one. Number two, he absolutely loves the pocket, and he'll stay in that pocket. Thirdly, he lacks mobility. He cannot come out of that pocket. He does not extemporize as well as Joe Namath extemporizes. He likes to go with that predetermined game plan. Now, if Philbin can get to him, or if Earl and Biggs on the other side can get to him, we might see a totally different game.
All right, now we're going to take a look at the other element of defense. We'll have more of the Super Bowl activities of 1969 right after this message.
This is Antonio Santiago. Locked in the heel of his foot, a big pen. No matter how you punish it, a big ballpoint pen writes first time, every time. And here's why. Big's textured diamide ball is the hardest metal made. Precision fitted into a solid brass nose cone. Big medium point, 19 cents. Big fine point, 25 cents. Big writes first time, every time.
Now, how about stopping the running game? And we talked to Ralph Baker, the left linebacker of the New York Jets, and Mike Curtis, the left linebacker of the Baltimore Colts. Here's what they had to say.
Ralph, we've been talking about Baltimore's big tight end, John Mackey. How much are you going to be concerned with holding him at the line of scrimmage, not letting him get downfield for passes?
Well, I'll tell you, Kyle, this year we found out that we weren't having a real heck of a lot of luck holding up the tight end at the line of scrimmage, so we've gone to a defense where we stack our linebackers and more or less give the tight end the option going downfield. We'll just try and cover them rather than try to hold them up.
About your running game or your defense against Baltimore's running game, the Red Dog, of course, can be utilized as a great pass rush, but also, as you well know, against the run as well. Will you be mixing it and using the Red Dog to defend their run?
Well, again, we're not really a big blitzing team, but we will mix in a few blitzes now and then to keep them honest and let them know that we have them. But we more or less try and play sound football, and as long as we can stop them that way, we'll stick with that. If we're not having any luck, then we'll have to right now.
Well, the word is out that they plan to throw short to their little swing halfbacks and what have you, to bring your linebackers up close and then try and get over the linebackers with their longer passes. Are you pretty much prepared for this?
Well, yeah, I think so. I think a lot of teams in our league, like to go to their halfbacks instead of a team like those. But then last week we had to cover them, and if Baltimore doesn't, that's fine with us because we still have some double coverage pass defenses. I think we still cover their flanker and split in.
Ralph, John Mackey is an exceptionally large tight end, and when they do run the ball, he'll be blocking quite often on you. What type of blocker is he, as you have determined in the film?
Well, I'll tell you, just looking at the films, like Jerry said previously, we've never played against this team before, but he looks like he's as fine a blocker as there is in pro football. As fine a tight end blocker as there is in pro football. And whoever he's blocking on, they're going to have their hands full, I guarantee it.
It's been said this week that the Jets are going to try to establish a running game against you, and maybe in that way cut down on some of your pass rush.
Well, I'll tell you, we're prepared for their running game. They have two good backs. I think we can stop them up. But right now, our main objective, I think, is the passing game. We always go into the game looking forward to run. My position, particularly, looking forward to run, and we always stop the run. And we stop the passing game.
They're going to stop any running game. What do you think about anybody establishing a running game here today?
Well, Kurt, when you've got a front four as big and as tough and as mobile as the Colts have, you would feel confident also to break that strong side linebacker. But the New York Jets are awfully good up front. They are as good as they come. John Elliott may be young, but he's an awfully good football player. So the front four, to me, are pretty close. It may be a standoff. The linebackers, Kurt, could well be the difference. Mike Curtis is an awfully good one. I think the running game could be. I think if the New York Jets are to win this football game today, Kurt, I firmly believe they must get 100 to 130 yards on the ground, 9 to 13 first downs. If they do that, this is going to be a whale of a football game.
I mean, they just can't come out here and just fill the air with footballs today.
That's for sure. I think we should keep our eyes, obviously, on Matty and Hill, but let's not forget Emerson Boozer, number 32, and also Matt Snell, number 41.
All right, thanks very much, L.D. Regatas. You know, several moments ago, we heard the Jets and Colts say they know each other only through their exchange of game film. But that's not altogether true. Although they've never met before in a football field, they do form pro football's most closely knit family circle. And today's super game is really a family feud. For example, Steve Eubank and the Jets also coach the Colts, and he's the only coach to ever win championships in both leagues.
And let's not forget Johnny Sample of the Jets, who was the first player ever to see the championship teams in both leagues.
When I was with Reed and Colts before, I was on the Sunday South. We were both respectively. The quarterback was the regular league coach championship in 1958 and 1959 with John United.
The fellow who coached the Colts in 1968 National Football League title is another of Reed's former Baltimore players, Don Shula.
We've also coached before we both came to Baltimore. Another Colt I coached, who's now with the Jets, is Bates Turner.
Mark Trubisky has also played for Weave on both teams.
I broke in with Baltimore in 1961, and Camp was up that season. The guy who scored 3 touchdowns in the 68 NFL title game, Tom Adams.
1961 was also the year we managed to get Jimmy Orr down from Pittsburgh here to Baltimore.
Another fellow who came from Pittsburgh to Baltimore has a real family tie with the Jets. It's Lou Michaels.
That's right, Jimmy. My brother Walt is the coach with the Jets. I wish Lou nothing but the best. We won't speak to each other until after today's game. In the meantime, I want to thank the Colts for allowing us to have Curly Johnson.
I was on the Weave Texas squad in Baltimore in 1959. Odo Bracey was already a 2-year veteran under Eubank. My job to intimidate the quarterback. I played with a guy on the Colts who did a pretty good job on receivers, Johnny Sample.
The year after I left the Colts, Jerry Hill was in the league at Baltimore.
Now Weave's got another Hill playing for him on the Jets. Winston Hill, who was drafted by Baltimore. Another guy who was drafted by Weave when he was with the Colts is Bob Wilson. I know Matt Snell.
My older stuff being
Teammate at Ohio State. Bob, you've got a teammate who'll probably give me a hard time today. He's another Weave's former player, Billy Ray Smith.
I'll have plenty of help, Matt. Still another of Eubank's boys, Dan Sullivan.
The oldest Colt who played under Weave, Dick Smancy. He goes back to 1955. Hey, I'm not that old. Don Sinek joined Weave and the Colts in 1957.
And if anybody gets by me today, there's another Eubank who will pick up one.
This got the cops called on.
Really a tight-knit pro football family. Right, Weave?
Right,
Bobby. I'd like to wish all of you a Super Bowl.
And that is some family circle. Now, we'll continue with more of the pregame activities of the 1969 Super Bowl game right after this message.
Some of our amazing businessmen are West, like fashion designer Gordon Ali, head of one of the most successful big-order firms in the country. He travels coast to coast more and more than most people do. But being a woman, she looks at things, well, a little differently. are things most men wouldn't even notice. We notice them. Maybe that's why United flies more businessmen and women than any other airline.
Now let's meet some of the key Jet and Colt players you'll be seeing in today's Super Bowl. Name of the game may be defense, but Joe Namath of the Jets stands for offense. Yes, Namath is on the hot seat. Most of the pressure is on him. The AFL Player of the Year must have a super game if the Jets are to become the first AFL Super Bowl champion. By unanimous agreement, Namath's the most exciting quarterback of pro football. Even on those rare occasions when he runs, it's high adventure because of his gimpy $400,000 knee. Namath reads defense as well and can improvise, which may be one advantage he has over rival quarterback Earl Morrall. Namath's favorite target was flanker Don Maynard, who set an all-time pro record for yardage game receiving. Maynard has deceptive speed. He's been favoring a leg injury, though, the past few weeks.
She'll try to find him, but she's gonna find him.
Halfback Emerson Boozer, says Jet coach Ricky Eubank, finally is ready to show the slashing running form that enabled him to score 13 touchdowns during half a season before a knee injury took him out in 1967. If Boozer's right, the Jets could have a post-ground attack. The Jets' leading rusher is fullback Matt Snell. Really a jack of all trades. He's an excellent pass blocker, fine receiver, but he's at his best on the ground, where he outgained any fullback during the regular season.
No, so that's not my problem. That's not a problem. That has nothing to do with us.
Split end George Sauer was the Jets' leading pass catcher for the second year in a row. Sauer has the hands, the moves, to prompt the Eubank to read him with his former colleague Raymond Berry, and that's saying a lot. Jerry Philbin, Merlin Vick are the Jets' defensive ends. They helped New York to finish first in the AFL in total defense. Vick is especially good as a pass rusher, and at 270 pounds can leave a lasting impression on a quarterback. Philbin led the Jets in getting to the opposition passers, but is rated not as strong on running plays, although many AFL rushers, including Oakland's Charlie Smith, about to be stopped here, would tell you otherwise. Philbin's chief assets are speed, hustle, and constant movement. We'll have a look now at the Colts and more of the pregame activities of the 1969 Super Bowl game right after this match.
Lime. You know I've got a thing for fresh, juicy lime. Smell that? That is delicious. Boy, if only they could make a lime shave cream, too. But they did. It smells like lime. It's lime. It's really lime. They made a lime shave cream.
Rapid Shave, makers of famous regular and new menthol mint. Rapid Shave Lime, a whole new kick to shaving.
You have no cigarettes, so will the cute little holes in the tent?
Cute hole? Sure.
Thanks.
Hey, mister, how about some of those skinny cigarettes? In this fancy, frilly, you gotta have a gimmick world, there's one cigarette that doesn't go along. Camel filters? Camel filters aren't for everybody. There's no compromise in the tobacco. No nonsense about the taste. Camel filters. They're not for everybody, but then they don't try to be.
You know, Wade Eubank says his Jets are better than the AFL's two previous Super Bowl representatives, Kansas City and Oakland. But he also says Baltimore is better than the Green Bay team that won both those games. The defensive-minded Colts are led on attack by quarterback Earl Morrall, who came to them in a trade late last August. Regarded as a journeyman player since 1956, Morrall got his big chance when Johnny Unitas was injured, and he made the most of it. He was named NFL Player of the Year. Colt halfback Tom Matte has overcome a case of bleeding ulcers, an unhappy experience in the quarterback, and the label of garbage runner to establish himself as Baltimore's leading ground game. Matte doesn't have great speed, but he has power to spare. He can turn the corners, and he's really dependable when the Colts are near the goal line. He's one of football's most versatile and valuable players. Split in Jimmy Orr and tight end John Mackey provide Baltimore with two of the best receivers in pro football.
If we go to now,
Eubank calls Mackey, number
we're trying to see
88,
if this one's
that
still
great
being recorded. I
giant.
think this one's still
He's
being
the best
recorded.
there is, maybe the best there ever has been at tight end. He doesn't mind being crowded. He's hard to bring down. He's a devastating blocker and can run the end around as he's doing here.
Yeah,
He'll
we
be a
can,
major problem the Jets will have to solve today.
I'm just trying this.
Flanker Willie Richardson may be another dilemma
I
for
wanted
the
to do it
Jets.
this morning, but
He's
I got
tough
up
to
too
single
late.
cover. He's very strong fighting for the ball, especially in enemy territory, where Morrow makes a practice of throwing to his team. Now for the defense, and here's tackle Billy Ray Smith and Casey Beck. And in Bubba Smith, who mixes size with speed. And there's in Ordell Brady. He's tops as a pass rusher. And here he is in action, together with tackle Fred Miller. The Baltimore front four dropped the opposing quarterbacks 45 times during the regular season. The most terrifying Colt is Bubba Smith. He'll be number 78, 6'7", 295. And he rises up to ruin you in many ways. He uses his arms here in the NFL title game against Cleveland.
Not too long.
And because the name of the game is defense,
It goes faster.
Colts are heavy favorites to win today's Super Bowl game. Baltimore
This
posted
one might be
3
like
regular season shutouts and a 4th in the NFL championship game. In 4 straight games, they didn't allow a touchdown, and they tied an NFL record by allowing only 144 points during the regular season. That's an average of 10 points a game, almost unbelievable in pro football. The Jets are an explosive and dangerous team, as long as Joe Namath is operating. In order to keep him that way today, the Jets will have to establish a ground game, and the Jets secondary will have to be flawless. And that's it for now.
No,
Coming up next,
it's full
the
band.
1969 Super Bowl game with Al DeRogatis, Jim Simpson, Kyle Rose, and myself. We'll be on television and over on NBC Radio, Charlie Jones, George Bannerman, and Pat Sumner. So stay tuned. We'll be back with you right after station identification.
Oh, that's the preview.
Go after a renegade grizzly on Wild Kingdom tonight at 7, 6 Central Time.
Just the...
NBC Sports presents the third AFL NFL World Championship game, the Super Bowl. The American Football League champions, the New York Jets, versus the National Football League champions, the Baltimore Colts. From the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, brought to you by Chrysler Corporation. Your host for today's game, Chrysler, Plymouth, and Dodge. By Big Tip Pell-Mell Gold, you may got better at both ends. By Slip. When you're out of Slip, you're out of beer. by the new adjustable Gillette Texanic razor, and by Trans World Airlines, the all-jet airlines, up and away, TWA. The city of Miami, host for this Super Bowl game, and a wonderful host it's been. The temperature right now is 72 degrees. The wind is going to be a factor here. It's gusty now, 15 miles an hour, and we have a 20% chance of rain. It rained last night hard for several hours. The field was covered, though, and appears to be in very good shape. And they could have sold 150,000 tickets for this game. Tickets have never been more scarce than they were here in Miami for the third Super Bowl game. I'm Kurt Gowdy. I'm going to call the play-by-play for you. Analyzing the game will be Kyle Rowe and Aldi Roganis. They were both National Football League stars, and also they followed the AFL this season on television and NBC, so they know both leagues very well. Also, Jim Simpson is going to be with us, and he'll be roaming the field for some interesting interviews. Well, you've all read and heard all kinds of pregame dope during the week. I think one big sidelight has been Joe Namath. Joe Namath, of course, is the man that the Colts have to stop. If Namath has a good day, the Jets are usually good. If he doesn't, they have trouble. But Namath has not been bashful this week. He's come down here to Miami, and he has said that the Jets are going to win. He doesn't even predict it. He said, I guarantee a Jet victory. He has downgraded his opponent, the quarterback, Earl Morrall. And this is supposed to now give Baltimore even more of an incentive, and they say that it has added maybe a 2-touchdown edge to the Colts. We'll see how it all comes out. Joe Namath has been on the spot, but he's even more on the spot now. This telecast is presented by authority of the American and National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the American and National Football League is prohibited. And now let's go down to the mass bands on the field as they strike up Mr. Touchdown USA.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the 1969 Super Bowl pregame show entitled Mr. Football. Here they are, the Boston Patriots, the Cleveland Browns, the Buffalo Bills, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Cincinnati Bengals, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Houston Oilers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Green Bay Packers, Miami Dolphins, the New Orleans Saints, the Oakland Raiders, the New York Giants, the San Diego Chargers, the Washington Redskins, the Denver Broncos, the Chicago Bears, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Detroit Lions, the Los Angeles Rams, San Francisco's 49ers, the Atlanta Falcons, and the two league champions playing here today, the New York Jets and the Baltimore Colts.
Honored here today, the Apollo 8 astronauts, Frank Borman, James Lovell, and William Andrews.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you now please rise and remain silent for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem. To lead us in the pledge, Frank Borman, Jim Lovell, and Bill Anders, the Apollo 8 astronauts.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now our national anthem.
Floyd Geisler, he is the first trumpeter of the Washington Nationals in the Northeast. The astronauts expressed an interest in attending this game. They're football fans. Most of the astronauts are football fans of the Houston Oilers, and Commissioner Peoples immediately invited them here today. Their families are with them, and the two Foreman boys are going to serve as ball boys today in this game. The New York Jets and the Baltimore Colts are ready for the opening kickoff. We'll be right back for the start of the 1969 Super Bowl game.
Decisions. Do I want good, rich flavor or one that's lower in tar than the best-selling Filter King?
Wait. Now one cigarette gives you both. Pall Mall Gold. Newest U.S. government figures show Pall Mall Gold 100s now lower in tar than the best-selling Filter King. Longer, yet now lower in tar than the best-selling Filter King. You make out better at both ends with Big Tip Pall Mall Gold. Tastier, milder. Pall Mall Menthol, too.
Ah, the good time taster Schlitz. All a matter of timing. It takes you just a moment to enjoy it, but it takes months to bring it to you. Months to brew and age every golden mellow drop of Schlitz, because you just can't rush quality like this. The golden age of Schlitz is what makes it America's choicest premium beer. Once you taste it, you'll know why we say, when you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer.
The two teams have been down here for the last 10 days. They both trained at Fort Lauderdale. Neither club made an appearance here, and despite last night's hard rain, this field was covered about 5 o'clock, so we expect it to be very fast today. We're waiting for the Colts and the Jets to come out. The Jets are masked at the far end. They'll be in white today. The Baltimore Colts, the National Football League, is the home team. Baltimore will be in blue. And as the teams left the field, taking their warm-ups, the player that got the biggest hand was Johnny Unitas. And don't forget about Unitas today, because he was throwing fairly well in practice. His arm has improved, and you never know what happens, but Johnny U, who many consider the finest quarterback that ever lived, could still be a factor in this game. Don Shula says he will go with Earl Morrall all the way unless something happens. Joe Namath also got a big hand when he came out in the field. He's an old favorite here. He was the star, the most valuable player of the 1965 Orange Bowl game. Although Alabama lost, Namath was the top player in that game. The wind is going to be a definite factor. It's going to be very gusty today. It's blowing across field, and we may have some swirling currents that can do some peculiar things with passes, with punts, with kickoffs. And this wind will die a little bit, then it'll spring up again. The sun is going to be in and out. And there you see the complete capacity crowd. Miami just had the greatest 3 days in rental car history it's ever had. The influx of visitors from New York, Baltimore, many of the professional football cities here, and of course the fans of this area, always outstanding pro football fans. All right, these teams are about ready to come on the field. Kyle Rote, one of the top players in the history of the Southwest Conference, a tremendous star with the New York Giants, and now an outstanding telecaster, is going to analyze the New York Jets for you.
Well, thank you, Kurt. And of course, now time to meet the members of the New York Jets, the champions of the American Football League. For the New York Jets, the 1968 season was one in which, for I think the first time in the team's 9-year history, all of the pieces fell into place. The defensive unit, number 1 in the league. Jerry Philbin, one of the best pass rushers in the business. John Elliott, the young defensive right tackle, having a tremendous season. Jim Hudson heading up a strong pass defense. And young Carl McAdams giving great depth, not only on the line, but at the linebacker spot. And offensively, the line gave Joe Namath great protection all season long. The 3 deep receivers got through the season relatively injury-free. And there were 2 preseason trades that worked out beautifully. Offensive guard Bob Talamini coming from the Houston Oilers to give them great flexibility in that front line. And Babe Pirelli coming from Boston to give the team an extremely capable and experienced backup man to quarterback Joe Namath. And of course, Joe Namath himself. Controversial, exciting, but above all, a most talented ball player, a great passer, on whose right arm will be riding the hopes not only of the New York Jets today, but as well the hopes of the entire AFL. And the man who put it all together, head coach of the New York Jets, Lee Eubank. Lee Eubank, the only man in pro football history to win championships, not only in the National Football League, but in the American Football League as well. And of course, going for his first Super Bowl championship.
And now another one of our analysts today will be Al DeRogatis, an All-American lineman at Duke University, a star defensive tackle with the New York Giants, who worked with us this past season on NBC television. And Al is going to analyze the Colts.
And now as the Baltimore Colts, thank you, Kurt, as the Baltimore Colts come on the football field, this is a team that 1968 had one theme, and that was all the way in 68. They've got one more to go, and you know they're going to be trying their very best. 1967, everyone knows they won all but one big game right at the end, losing a heartbreaker to the Rams. The interesting thing is that in this great classic, the great John Unitas will not be starting, but John is ready, and no one will be too surprised that John gets into the football game. The tremendous story is obviously the story of the Cinderella Man, Earl Morrow, and Earl has done just a great job, and those fans around the country that admire the man must be awfully happy for Earl. The interesting thing is that Earl went to the Baltimore Colts as part of a trade for a second-string quarterback, Jim Ward. And now it's Don Shula coming on to the football field, a man has done such an outstanding job.
All right, thank you, Kyle. And Al, we're going to have the flip of the toss of the coin. The captains will be going out to the 50-yard line. The officials today, the referee is Tom Bell of the National Football League. The umpire is Walt Parker of the American Football League. The head linesman is George Murphy of the NFL. The line judge is Cal Lepore of the AFL. The back judge is Jack Reeder of the AFL. And the field judge is Joe Gonzalez of the NFL. Joe Namath, number 12, Johnny Sapple, 24, are the captains for the New York Jets. And for the Baltimore Colts, Preston Pearson is their specialty captain. Johnny Unitas is the offensive captain. And number 43, Lenny Lyles, is the defensive captain. Baltimore is going to kick off on your left. New York receiving on your right. This is a crosswind today, but I believe it is a slight advantage to the team on your left. Jets will be spreading out with Babe Turner and Earl Christie as the deep men. Turner's number 29. He'll be closest to you when we spot him. Lou Michaels is going to kick off. Christie's 45. Turner's 29. The lights are on here at the Orange Bowl. It's cloudy right now. see if Preston Pearson gets the tackle. He's down there about 8 out of 10 times with the Colts. A high kick, a beauty, tumbling to Christie a yard deep. He's to the 10, 15, and over the 20 goes to the 22-yard line. And it was Jerry Logan who went down to make the tackle for the Baltimore Colts. So it's New York's ball now. First down on their own 22. Namath, number 12, will be the quarterback. Boozer, 32 is the left half. Snell, 41 is the fullback. Maynard is the flanker, number 13. Sauer will be the split end. And Pete Lammons the tight end. Don't pay any attention to what Baltimore does before the snap of the ball. There's a shift. The Jets shift. Never seen them do that during the year. That's Snell over his 25 to his 26-yard line. And he's hit there by Ordell Brazy, number 81, the defensive right end.
Kurt, it's an interesting shift, and in a moment we'll give you more. But what they went into was an unbalanced line, strong to the far side, the top of your picture, a double wing. They were going to run to the weak side.
And there's the rest of the Jet lineup. The Hill and Herman the tackle, Palomini last post of the guard, and Smith the center. Second down 6. The Jets on their own 26. Long signal count. Snell again, bursting through. Snell runs it to the 34 and a first down for the New York Jets.
And Kurt, this is partly one of the reasons I think Joe Namath going to the ground. See this handoff to Snell, some great blocking in there by the line. John Smith, number 52. Winston Hill, 75. And of course, this is what they must do, establish a ground game, because they know he can pass.
Rick Bolt is injured on that last play, left the field. The All-NFL safety man, Ossie Austin, replaced him. First down for the Jets in their 34. And this is Boozer, and Boozer is trapped and is crushed down. He's hit there by Dan Shinnick, number 66, the defensive right linebacker, and Billy Ray Smith, number 74, the left tackle. That throws the Jets back to their 31, where it's a second down and 13. We have no score, and we have 12:55 left to play here in the first period. Here's the average points for each team during the year. We'll be throwing up these statistics during the game, and you take a look at them. And here's Namath for his first pass on the run to Snell. Snell is just short of the 40. And look for the Jets today, I think, to run those backs out of the backfield against the zone defense.
Exactly right, Kurt. They're looking at a strong zone to the far side of the field. It looks like Joe Namath, as you called it, is going to come up to the line of scrimmage, not go with any automatic. Figure that the Baltimore Colts use a strong zone to the far side of the field.
All right, it's third down, 4 to go. New York Jets on their 40. They've had the ball now the first 3 minutes of the game. They're doing this third down play. They split Sauer to the left and Maynard to the right. Boozer and Snell the setback. Here's the draw to Snell, and the Baltimore Snell that now. Fred Miller, 76, the defensive right tackle, stopping Snell. And now Tim Brown is going to go back. He is the second string punt returner. Usually Rick Bolt is the man back. But Tim Brown will be deep, and Gary Logan will be the short man. Logan is a devastating blocker on these punts. Curly Johnson tied for second in the American Football League in punting. He had an average of 43.8. He can give the ball a run. Low pass. He's away. There's a flag down on this play. Brown is chased back to his 18. Gets to the 20, and he's up into there. He's hit by Rademacher, number 23. On outstanding protection. But we have a flag down. So let's see what this is about. An offside. Offside. Looked like Smith jumped. It appears, Kurt, it will, if it is an offside against Baltimore, that it will still lack perhaps a foot of being a first down. They'll still be faced with a fourth down situation. And they're short. About half a yard. Now they're talking. That's Snell, number 41. Curly Johnson, the punter, number 33. Namath usually comes in and discusses these penalties, the offensive captain. The Jets are going to accept the penalty. And they'll have 4th down and a half yard to go. There's Rademacher, 23, who made that great tackle downfield. 4th down and a half yard to go. The Jets on their own 44. Once again, Tim Brown has the single safety with Jerry Logan on tight. That'll give Brown another shot. Maybe they get a better run back. And the kick to the near side. Brown takes it on his 18 and gets up to his 27. And number 26, Jim Richards. And John Neidert, number 63, down to make the tackle for the Jets. So it's 1st down now. As we'll watch Baltimore go to the attack for the first time. With Earl Morrill at quarterback. He'd be number 15. Tom Matte, left halfback, 41. Jerry Hill, 45, the fullback. Willie Richardson, 87, the flanker. Mackey is the tight end, 88. He's the man to really watch here today. Jimmy Orr, the split end, number 28. Now he split that backfield. Mackey to the left tight end. Morrill's going to the air. And right away, he dumps it off to the 25. To the 30 is Mackey. Mackey's almost impossible to bring down by one man or two. And he just throws them off like flies.
Let's look at this in slow motion. John Mackey shifted from the tandem in the backfield, went to the tight end to the left side, dropped back. It really wasn't a screen. He was just there as kind of a safety valve. Now watch this former Syracuse great show you that he still knows how to really run with that football. Good run by Big John.
All right, they line up with that eye. Alex Hawkins is now in. Mackey in the backfield and shifted out of there. Here's the pitch to Matte. Matte roaring to the 50 and into Jet territory. And in 2 plays, the Colts have come from their 27 to the New York Jet 44. Ralph Baker had to make that tackle, the left linebacker of the New York Jets. They may measure. Timeout on the officials. Hill's gone back in and Hawkins out. Super Bowl game being brought to you in living color exclusively on NBC. A 1st down for Baltimore. They have picked up 2 first downs on 2 plays.
Let me explain what the Colts are doing, and it's rather apparent. They're going to come with real power. They put Tom Mitchell, number 84, into the game. He's a rookie from Bucknell, a big boy. He and John Mackey, number 88, are both playing to the strong side with Willie Richardson. 3 big men to the strong side, and they're running at it.
All right, 1st down for the Colts of the New York Jets 44. No score, just under 10 minutes to play in the first period. This is Jerry Hill. Hill slips away to the 40 and is down on the 37. And the shot at him was by Berlin Biggs. He missed him behind the line of scrimmage, and Jim Hudson, the strong safety, had to make the stop. So now the ball is on the New York Jets 37. That's a gain of 7. And right now, Baltimore looks overpowering on offense. They have a 2nd down and 3 to go.
Right now that both units have been in the ball game, both offensively and defensively, you can be pretty well assured that that skitterish feeling is gone now. They're settled down to some real ball play.
All right, they have a slot right. Jimmy Orr is the near side slot back. That's Matte jammed up at the 36-yard line of the Jets. Paul Rochester. And number 80, John Elliott, the 2 tackles combined. Elliott is very quick across that line of scrimmage, and he'll get underneath a lot of plays. So it is now on the 36-yard line of the Jets, 3rd down, and 2 to go for the Colts, and no score. Jimmy Orr's coming out, and Mitchell goes back in his tight end. Now they've got the double tight end system in there, and it gives them better blocking on short yardage. And they're in tight, as you'll notice. 3rd and 2. Here's Hill, and he has that 1st down. The ex-Wyoming star, who played 6-man football in high school at Torrington, Wyoming, picks up the 1st down. Baltimore has the ball now on the New York Jets 31, 1st and 10. Mitchell threw the key block for him.
Now, Kurt, the Jets are playing the running game. They're playing it very tight. Carl McAdams coming in for Rochester. But the thing we have to watch now is Jim Hudson, number 22. He's been playing Willie Richardson awfully tight on the right side. Earl may decide to cross him up and go with a first down pass.
All right, the Colts on the Jet 31 first down. Cannon's down at left tackle. Hill is hit and dropped back on the 34. Jerry Philbin, the All-AFL left end from Buffalo, shot across that line and dumped him for a 3-yard loss. That makes it now second down and 13 to go. Each team has passed only once in this game.
Now, Leroy Gaddis mentioned John Mackey, possibly a pass to him. They're not blocking him at all at that line of scrimmage. The Jets aren't. He's got a clean shot at the safety man, Jim Hudson. You'll see him when he lines up again. There will be no linebacker over him. This gives him a straight shot. He's a big man. He's listed at 215. He looks like he's about 230.
All right, Mitchell's in at tight end. Hill's gone out. They leave Matty as the lone setback. Morrow for his second pass. Throws it out. It is incomplete. The pass was intended for on the far side and was covered by Randy Bentley. Now we have a third down and 13 to go for the Colts. There was some doubt in this game about the Jet cornerback, some concern about it. And those quarterbacks, of course, so important. John Sample has been inconsistent this year. I wonder if Beverly is going to be big enough to stop some of these boys. And only a second year of professional football. Third down, 13. 7 minutes, 9 seconds to play in the first period. No score. Once again, that same setup. Matty the lone setback. Morrow, time again, throws the same pattern and completes it to the 19-yard line. They blew the whistle, though. That was Tom Mitchell, the tight end, number 84, who was an Oakland Raiders cast-off. The Oakland Raiders released him, and he was picked up by the Baltimore Colts. Bill Barrett made the tackle. But it's a first down now for Baltimore on the New York 19.
So far, Kurt, we've seen double wing used by both teams. We've seen both teams go into an odd formation. We've also seen a overshifted line.
All right, Jimmy Orr comes to the near side with Willie Richardson in the slot. Jerry Hill's back in his fullback. Morrow pumps one way, he's under the rush, throws on the run, and it is incomplete at the 6-yard line, intended for Willie Richardson, who can make some spectacular catches. Second down, 10. Jim Hudson was over there to cover him, and Philbin had put the rush on Morrow. Baltimore on the New York 19. Morrow now has attempted 4 passes and completed 2. Jerry Hill goes back to the sideline, and Tom Mitchell into the game as Don Shula keeps alternating players. In that I formation, Mackey's in the backfield. Now he hops out of it. Once again, Matty's the only back behind Morrow. And here on second down, he's hit, but he throws the ball, and it's incomplete at the 5. He was wide open. Tom Mitchell diving for that ball. Sample was behind him.